welcome to Restless Chipotle Kitchen. Today, I'm going to show you how to make your very own French fried onions, like you get in the can and you put on top of casseroles. Well, a couple of years ago, I went to the store to get these for Thanksgiving, and I couldn't find any. There was none on the shelves. So I figured out how to make my own, and once I made them, I did not want to go back to the canned ones. So let's head over to the kitchen and get started. Okay, y'all, the first thing we're going to do is peel and slice an onion. And when you're peeling the onion, if you'll leave the root end on and slice it with the root end on, it shouldn't make you cry as much as it would if you took that end off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slice these super thin. They don't have to stay in rings so much as we want them to be very thin so that they get crispy. And you can see that these are very thin. Once your onions are all sliced, we're going to put them in 2 cups of buttermilk. And they're going to soak in that buttermilk for 10 minutes. This helps to make them milder and to help the flour mixture adhere to it when we get to that part. While the onions are soaking, we're going to mix up 2 cups of flour and 3 tablespoons of Creole seasoning. I use Tony Chachere's, looks like this, but you can use whatever kind you want. And if you can't find this, and I link to this on the blog so that you can find it, Amazon carries it. If you can't find it where you are, it's a combination of salt, red pepper, black pepper, chili powder, salt, garlic powder, and dehydrated garlic. So what you would want to do is mix that up together and use that instead. And we're going to mix that in really, really well. We're going to take that mixture and we're going to put it in a baking dish. This is where we're going to dredge the onions in the flour. Once the onions have had a chance to soak for 10 minutes, we're going to take them and drain them on something absorbent. You can use paper towel, you can use a towel, you can use a brown paper bag, whatever it is that you would like to use, you can use, but you want to get these drained really well, or it's going to make your breading soggy. Just before you put them in the flour, you want to pat them dry and then just put them right in the flour. Now the best way to do this is to have one hand for wet and one hand for dry. And that way you don't end up getting a whole lot of wet flour stuck on your fingers. I always forget which hand is which, and so invariably I'm going to get wet flour stuck on my fingers. But technically if you use one hand dry and one hand wet, you won't do that, so it's a little cleaner. Once your onions are all in there, you want to just, see, I did it already. You want to just take the flour and make sure that they're all covered. Another way you can do this, it's probably easier, is to put the onions in a brown paper bag with the flour mixture in it and shake it, and that'll cover them too. But beware, if you don't get the onions dry enough, the paper bag will get wet and you'll be shaking it, and all of a sudden you're going to have onions and flour mixture all over your kitchen. So it's just as easy to do it this way, and I didn't do too bad this time. You want those onions to be completely coated with your flour. When you take the onions out, put them on a pan and let them get a chance to kind of dry for a few minutes. It'll also help the coating to stay on when you are frying them. I'm using 4 cups of peanut oil, but you can use any type of clear, light vegetable oil that you like. You don't want to use olive oil because it's got a low smoke point and it'll kind of burn while you're trying to do it. You just want to put a few of these at a time in because you don't want to cool down your oil. Be sure to shake them off really good before you put them in there so you don't get an excess of flour in there, because the flour will burn. When I'm deep frying, I like to clear the kitchen out. I don't like the dogs to be in there. I don't like the kids to be in there. I don't like my husband to be in there. I want to be able to concentrate on the oil and the frying and not have to worry about somebody getting burned. So you're just going to leave those in there to fry until they're golden and crispy. And do check the oil every once in a while to be sure you're not getting it too hot. Frying pan and not a deep kettle like I am, you're going to have to go in there and turn the onions over every once in a while so that they get done on all sides. But you can see right now they're starting to get a nice golden color to them. Now if these were onion rings, we would stop pretty quickly because you just want them light golden brown and you want them crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. But we want these to crisp up all the way through. So we're going to watch very carefully so that we don't let them burn, but we're still going to let them go as long as possible. As they get closer to being done, you want to turn them over more often. When they're done, you want to use a strainer to take them out. And that is just about the right color. I love this strainer that I got because it keeps my hands far away from the oil, the hot oil, and it also picks up a lot at a time, as you can see, and it doesn't waste a lot of oil because the holes are big enough, or the spaces are big enough, that all of the oil goes back into the pan. And then you just repeat the process. These do keep relatively well in a cool, dark place if you seal them up airtight. If you keep them in the refrigerator or freezer, they're going to lose their crispiness. Basically, the best thing to do is to cook as many as you want for what you're doing, and then make them again next time. Now, the secret to getting these really crispy is cutting them really thin. You would cut onion rings somewhat thicker than this, but because you've cut this onion so thin, it cooks quickly and doesn't burn, but it just gets crispy. See y'all, that was easy. These onions are crispy and they're great for snacks. They're great on top of your casseroles, and in fact, I'm going to show you next time how to make a green bean casserole with those onions. So check out the whole recipe on restlesschipotle.com. There's nutrition information and tips and step-by-step images, and you'll be able to print the recipe out so that you can use it in your kitchen. And come back next time because we're going to be making green bean casserole and putting these onions on top. Until then, please subscribe. Please subscribe to the email so you never miss another recipe. And I'll see you next time. Love y'all. Bye-bye.